Hey guys, Sam here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how we can build this friendly AI voice assistant for your business that can help you contact new leads that are generated immediately after they're generated, and it can ask them whether they are ready to talk to somebody right now, and we can pass them through to a team member, or if they're not ready right now, it's going to collect the time that they would, the day and time that they would prefer to have a call back, either morning or afternoon. This is a really simple use case, so it's perfect for beginners who are learning how to use these voice AI tools. We're going to be using Vappy for the voice AI assistant. We're going to be using Airtable as always for our data. And as you can see down here, we are going to be using make.com as well to trigger the calls when a lead comes in, and then do the processing with a little bit of ChatGPT as well to help structure some of the data that gets populated into our Airtable database here. As always, the make.com templates, the Airtable database template will be listed in the description below. So if you do want to just grab these and plug and play after this video, look in the description, you'll find a link there where you can download the templates for free. But before we jump in, let me quickly demo how this works. Here, if I right click this module, I'm going to click run this module. I should get a call in a second, you can see. So let's listen once we answer this phone call.
Built for trades. You just contacted us via one of our advertisements to inquire about our website packages. I was hoping to pass you through to one of our website team or arrange a callback to discuss some options. Is that okay?
Can you say that again? Sorry, I missed that.
Sure. Hey there. This is Becky from Built for Trades. You got in touch with us about our website packages that can connect you with our website team now. Or would you prefer a callback?
Yeah, I would prefer a callback actually.
Oh, got it. Can you give me your full name?
Yeah, it's Sam Wilcox.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, Sam. When's the best time for a callback? Any specific day in AM or PM?
I would say Wednesday AM.
All right, Wednesday AM it is. So to confirm, Sam Wilcox wants a callback on Wednesday morning. Is that correct?
That's right.
Awesome. You're all set. We'll give you a call on Wednesday morning. Have a great day, Sam. Cheers.
Thanks. Okay, cool. So the callback has been arranged. Now if I look over in here, that callback has just been dropped in Wednesday AM assignee. It's just been auto-assigned to me, and we're using some automations there to just do some assigning and extra stuff at the end. So we'll go through all of that. We're going to build this whole thing step by step. So anyway, let's jump in. So now, as always, guys, what we need to do to start off this project is come to Airtable, and we need to build our database. So I've just gone ahead and quickly set this up. You can see I've named the database inbound call lead system, so you can go ahead and do that. Then I've called this table here leads. So this is going to be the new leads that get created from our advertising or wherever we collect our leads from. We're going to build a form for this in a minute, a lead form. And then in this leads table, we want to have the main column is name. This is going to be the name of the lead that's generated. Usually we're going to collect an email with a lead. Then we're going to have a status field here. And if we edit the status field, we want these options. So we've got a new lead, we've got contacted, booked, not interested, or I'm going to add an extra one, forwarded. And then the default option we're going to set as new lead. We're going to click save. Then we're going to also add a field for the phone. I'm actually going to change this just to single line text here. And then there is a linked record for AI calls. So you'll see there is a second table here that I've set up. So you click on add, start from scratch, and then name this new table here AI calls. And then the first column is going to be time of call. So time of call is just going to be a single line text. Then we're going to link our contact, right? So I'll just delete this and show you how to do that again. Let's just delete these two. So if I was to create this field, I would call it, I would say link from another record. I'm going to call it leads. Actually, let's call it leads and not contact just to avoid confusion. So this is going to be the lead. And then we're also going to bring through the phone number of that lead as well. And I'm just going to drag this over here and drag this over next to it. So we've got the time of call, the lead, which is a related field, the phone, which is a lookup field from the lead, and then we've got our recording link. So this is just recording link, and this is a URL field. Then we've got transcript. We've got summary here, because Vappy is going to actually send a full summary of the call over to us in the output once the call's ended, which is great. And then we've got a transcript field, which is long text, and then we've got a call duration field, because it will also tell us how long the call was in seconds as a number. So what we want to do, just if we think about how we're going to process this out, we want, when a new lead is generated and added to this table, we then want to trigger an outbound phone call from our voice AI assistant to this phone number that is in the lead record here, okay? So that's what we need to think about next. First thing though, we need to just create a form, which is the lead form, right? So new leads, you might have this on your website, or you might put this as a link in an ad somewhere. We don't want status, because we don't need the customer to see that. We don't need AI calls either. We just want to, you can name this whatever you want. Obviously for your business, you need to think about how this works for you. And we're just going to collect the name, email, and phone. I'm going to publish this form. And we're going to have this that anybody on the web can see it, right? Because then you can use it in your advertisements. So I'm just going to copy the link for this form. I'm going to drop it over here so that we've got that to work with. Now, if I go back to view data, if I complete this form, let's just do a test. So agency, and then the phone number. I'm just going to put any old phone number in there for now. Thanks for submitting the form. And then we can see in here, we now have our new lead. I'm just going to remove these ones. Now we've got our test lead in here. This phone number is obviously false. But from here, we can now see that, okay, when the form is filled out, we want to trigger our Vappy instance, so our voice AI assistant. So next we're going to come over to Vappy. So Vappy.ai is where you want to go. Now there is a little bit of a process here, because you do need to set up a phone number and everything, right? So if you come into this platform area, so if you come over to phone numbers, you can see I've already got a phone number that's been set up, but essentially you would need to create a phone number. Now, if you're in the US, you can click on this buy number, and you can actually just buy the number straight through Vappy, which is a lot simpler. If you're in the EU or in the UK like me, then I had to go through Twilio to set up this phone number. So you will need to log into Twilio. I'm just going to show you that quickly. So if you do need to create a phone number and import it from Twilio, you need to log into a Twilio account. You do need to activate your Twilio account. So it needs to be a paid account. So make sure that you go through the process of doing that. It will be pretty straightforward in here how to do so. And then you can come to United States. You can come to phone numbers. First off, one thing that you're going to need to do before trying to get the phone number is you're going to need to click on regulatory compliance, go to bundles, and you need to create a regulatory bundle. If you're creating this for a business account, or if you're creating this for yourself, like an individual phone number, you still need to create this bundle, otherwise it won't let you create the phone number. So if you click on create a regulatory bundle, it's going to ask you for a few bits of information so that you can confirm your identity, confirm your business identity, all that kind of good stuff. And then once you get over to phone numbers, you can click on buy a number, and then you can come through here and you can pick a phone number, and you can so for me, because I'm in the UK, so if I go to United Kingdom, if I wanted to purchase this number, I have to go to next, and then it needs to know whether I'm a business or an individual. If I click business, I click next, and then you need to assign an approved bundle. Now, I already have one assigned to a different number, so it's not showing up here, but the bundle that you would create gets listed here, and then you can use that, and then you purchase the number, and then you have the activated number. That process can take a little bit of time, so go through these steps first to make sure that you've got that phone number. Then once you have the Twilio phone number created, you can come back into the Vappy dashboard. You can click on import, you go into Twilio, and then you add in your Twilio IDs here. and then it will connect that number to your Vappy account. So either way, before we jump into building the assistant, you do need to create, link your number and either create a Twilio account, or if you're in the US, purchase one straight through Vappy. Is probably a lot easier, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do that. So now that we have that, let's go into assistants. Now if you click on create an assistant, you'll see here that you can start to name the assistant, right? So I'm going to call this assistant Becky, and I'm going to start with a blank template. I'm going to click on create the assistant. So once you've created the assistant, you can see down here that you get an assistant ID at the top. And then you can see down here that you've got now some different settings for the model that the assistant's going to use. The first message here is what the assistant's going to say as soon as the call is started. Now we're going to be outbound dialing here, right? So the lead is going to come in through our form. And then as soon as the lead comes in, we want to trigger this assistant to make an outbound phone call. So the first message needs to bear that in mind. I'm just going to show you what I've been building for a client, just so that you can see how this works. This client is a website company. So essentially they're getting new leads coming through from their advertisements. They build websites for tradespeople in the UK. So it says, hey, this is Becky from Built for Trades. You just contacted us via one of our advertisements to inquire about our website packages. I was hoping to pass you through to one of our website team or arrange a callback to discuss some options. Is that okay? So that's the first thing that the assistant's going to say on the call. Then from here, you have the system prompt. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this system prompt and I'm going to drop this in. Now, to be totally honest with you here, this system prompt has been it is essentially an adjustment of the template assistant prompt that they have in Vappy. So if I just click on create another assistant here, if you click on the appointment setter, let's just call it test. If you click on create an assistant, you can see down here that it has a really good template for you to use out of the gate. So if you did want to build something like this, you can just use this test assistant, grab this system prompt, and then you can use it however you want for your own assistant. And you can just kind of like customize it. And that's what I've done for our client here. And again, this needs some testing. This is the first version of this, so it's going to need some testing and some setting up and playing around with. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that we've got the model. I'm going to make this the GT40 mini cluster. And then I'm also going to, I'm going to make it 4.0 cluster, sorry. And then I'm going to leave everything else the same. Everything else is good there. Then if I come over to transcriber, you can see down here that you have different providers and models that you can use for transcription. I don't bother changing any of this stuff. It's been fine as far as I could see for now. The voice, so you can change the voice, which is cool, which is definitely something that I've done. Because this is a UK company, let me just check which was the one that I actually used, because I wanted a nice British lady voice. And yeah, that's actually what I used. So if you go to Cartesia, here there is British lady. So you can see down here, British lady, that's what I used. British ladies, just it's a funny term. So yeah, so that's what I used for the voice here. Everything else is the same. Don't need to do anything there. From the function side of things, this is where you can get really powerful with Vappy. Now, this is a beginner's tutorial. I'm just trying to show you a very simple use case here. But the tools section is where you can give this voice assistant different tools that it can use to get more advanced. So for example, if you think about what we're doing now, we're actually just saying, I want you to call this number and see if we can forward them directly through to the team, or if you can collect when they would prefer to be called back. We're not booking them in for an appointment, okay, just to be clear. We're asking them when would they prefer to be called back. And then we'll pass those details to our team, and then hopefully our team will give them a call at that time. If you use the tools section, it's a little bit more advanced, you can actually plug this into your calendar system. Then you can have it check if there's availability for a specific time slot. And then you would also be able to add extra functions to it so that it can actually, if it is available, then it can book the calendar slot for you as well. But again, this is a beginner tutorial. I'm not going to jump into that right now. just for this specific video. So from here, one thing that we do want to be able to do is we want to enable end call function. That gives the voice assistant the ability to end the call on its own. And then we do need a forwarding phone number, because that's one of the things that we're asking them to do, right? We're saying, hey, can we forward you through to our team, or can I get a call back? Now it needs to know the phone number to forward the lead through to. If they do say yes, I'm ready to talk right now. So that's where you would put the phone number in here and do that. I'm not going to add it in here, but that's what you need to do. And then you can add like end of call phrases like thanks for your time, goodbye. Oh, goodbye. So then we're going to go over to advanced. One of the things we need to make sure is that yes, the audio recording is on. Everything else here you can just leave the same, guys. It's absolutely fine. Nothing really needs changing. I'm just going to double check my previous settings. Yeah, everything here is kind of good to go. You can play around with some of this stuff, I suppose, if you want to on your side, just to try and refine it once you've done some testing. But for me, just getting this set up, this has worked pretty well so far. And then also as well, what we need to remove is a status update here. So I'm going to get rid of that. And then we should just have these three for the server messages. The status update is actually something that plays with the webhook when we connect make.com. So we don't want that. We just want to get a function. We want to get an end of call report. Is kind of what we want to use to trigger that. And then there are other things that you can put in here as well. Like if you wanted to use a voicemail message, you can do end of call message. You can play around with all these settings and make it work for you. We're going to come back to this server URL shortly, but for now, let's just publish this. And let's go over to make.com and let's create a new scenario so that we can test this out. All right, so let's go new scenario. We're going to call this new lead AI callback trigger. And then what we want to do is we want to use Airtable. So we're going to watch for responses. So when our form is submitted, we want to trigger this automation. So we're going to watch for responses. We're going to need to add a new one here. So this is new inbound lead AI assistant. I'm just going to call it that. And then we're going to copy this address to the clipboard. Now we're going to come over to our Airtable. We're going to go to the form. And then if we click on this form to open up the settings on the right here, what we need to do is we need to send the data of this form once it's submitted to this make.com module here. And the way that we do that is we click on redirect to URL. We click on this little icon here, and then we add the URL in. And then we also add a little bit of code to the end, which is question mark. Then we're going to go record underscore ID equals, and then you can see there's record ID in curly brackets here. We're going to drop that in there. So you've got just to be clear, we've got the copied address from the clipboard here. Then we're going to come over, we're going to drop that in. So we pasted it in, and then at the end of that URL, we've also added question mark record underscore ID equals curly brackets record ID. Click save. Then we're going to publish this form. And then let's test it. So let's click on OK. Let's run this module only. And then let's just test this out. So Sam, test. We're going to say Sam, natural.agency. And then let's go submit. So then it says form submitted successfully. Then we should get an accepted in a second, right? So once it says accepted, that means that it's been sent through here and it's now got the record ID for us to use. So now that we've got that response, all that we're going to do is click on add a new module, click on get a record. because we have the ID. So we're going to use our base. We're going to go down to inbound lead call system, which is our Airtable base. We're going to use leads, and then the record ID is going to be that of what we've just been sent over. We're going to click on OK. So now we're going to have the response and also get the record. I'm just going to grab that ID quickly, just copy it from here. I'm going to click run this module only. I'm going to paste it in just so we can test it. And now you can see, okay, great, it's pulled out that information. And then the next thing that we need to do is we need to get Vappy to call that number. So now we're going to come in here, search for Vappy, click on this one here, and we're going to create an outbound phone call. So now we need a place for our assistant ID and then the phone number ID as well, okay? The phone number here is what the phone number it's going to use to actually do the phone number that you have in your Vappy account. So let's just start there first. So if I come back to Vappy, I'm going to come to the phone number. You've imported your phone number here, or you've purchased one through Vappy, and you're going to have a call ID here, right? So grab that. Then if you come over to phone number ID, drop that in. Then we want to go back over to Vappy. We're going to grab our assistant. We're going to use Becky here. We're going to copy the assistant ID. We're going to drop the assistant ID in. Then there is also a customer phone number, which is what we're going to use from our Airtable from our Airtable get a record module here. And then we're going to click on OK. Now, I'm actually going to just test this out. So run this module. So the phone number would have been 07736. There we go. Now it's calling a bad request, and I believe that the reason that this is because it needs to be formatted with a country code as well. So what we're going to do, just to avoid any confusion here, we're going to format this number in the correct way. So if we, in the middle here, if we right click, and then if we click add a module, and just search for phone. So you got phone number, and then we're going to parse a phone number, and the phone number is going to be the one that we pulled from Airtable. And then we also just want to add this to whatever your country is, right? So for you, it might be US. For me, it's going to be Northern Ireland, Great Britain and Northern Ireland, so the UK. If we run this module only, and if I just add the number in, now you can see that because it's had the phone number, it's now going to bring out the phone number in what we want here, which is E164 format, right? So this is the phone number that we actually want to work with, all right? Now if we paste that in, so I'm just going to grab that phone number there, and then come back over to Vappy, run this module. Let's just test that phone number. It didn't quite work because I've got do not disturb on my phone. So I'm just going to turn that off quickly, and we're just going to test that out once more time. So run this module only, paste that in. And you can see now this is working, right? So you can see that the call is now working. So this is our call trigger pretty much set up now. This is pretty much good to go. So what we're going to do is just going to click save. And then we're going to turn this on. We're going to delete the old data. Yep. I'm going to turn this on, and this is kind of good to go, right? I'm just going to add my little YouTube tag here just for my self-organization. So this automation triggers the phone call, and then the phone call happens. And if you think about it this way, like we can't build this into one automation where we kind of like wait, for the phone call to happen and then do something with the output in this automation. So we need to split it here because we need to create a second automation that gets triggered once the phone call ends. And then we take the data from the phone call and then we process it into Airtable in specific ways that we want to. So the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to come back out of here. Let's click save. Come into scenarios. We're going to create a new scenario. And we're going to call this YT. Then we're going to call this end of call process. So this is our end of call process. Now, if you think about it this way, how we actually know when the call is ended is Vappy is going to send out the call report function. So if you click on advanced here, scroll down, the server messages, there is an end of call report that gets sent. And we can send that end of call report, which has all the information that we need. We can send that to a server URL. Okay, so in make.com, if we click on plus, I'm going to go to Vappy, and then you can see, because it's a trigger and not an action, we now have this new option here, which is watch end of call report. So we're going to click watch end of call report. We're going to create a webhook. I'm just going to call YT, this is just easy for me, YT video, or so YT demo, end of call report, save. So now we have this URL here. We're going to grab this, and then I'm going to come over to our assistant. We're going to drop this in here. There's some extra security information that you can add here. I'll let you configure that on your own accord. For the demo purposes of this video, I'm just going to publish this now. All right, so now we want to make sure that we're actually receiving the end of call report. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to duplicate this tab. So we've got both of them open. I'm going to come back out to scenarios. I'm going to go into our trigger. And essentially what we need to do is we need to trigger a phone call to happen. We need to have a quick phone call. We need to end it. And then we need to make sure that that is then triggering our end of call report. So I'm just going to click save here. It says it's not set up, but I believe it is. Yeah, sometimes make.com does that. So I'm going to click save. Then what we're going to do is we're going to run this module. We're going to come back over here, and I'm going to run this module, and we're going to drop in the phone number that we used previously, which is my phone number, +44 7736 470 689. We're going to have a quick conversation, and then we're going to end the call, and then we're going to see the call report. So we're going to click OK.
This is Becky from Built for Trades. You just contacted us via one of our advertisements to inquire about our website packages. I was hoping to pass you through to one of our website team or arrange a callback to discuss some options. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll arrange a callback, please.
All right, cool. What's your full name, mate?
Sam Wilcox.
Nice to meet you, Sam. When would you prefer the callback? What day and time works best for you, AM or PM?
Let's say Monday AM.
Oops, seems like you cut out there. Was it Monday AM or PM?
I said Monday AM, yes.
Gotcha. Monday AM it is. So, to confirm, your name is Sam Wilcox and you want a call back on Monday morning. Is that right?
That's 100% correct. I gotta go quickly, but thank you for that.
Right.
She hung up on me. Manners. We need to teach this assistant some manners, eh? But now you can see we've got our end of call report, right? So the end of call reports come in. Now we've got all this data to work with, which is really awesome. It's just such a cool tool. I think Vappy is such an amazing tool. One thing just to note, I suppose, just as a side point at this point in the video, if you've stuck with me this long, I think it's really important that you get to know this tool, because from what I've seen on the market, it seems to be the most comprehensive and it can do the most things, especially with the tools and the functions that I was mentioning earlier on, where you can add in the different tools for the actual voice assistant to use. Then it gets really powerful. I would recommend checking out another YouTube channel, a guy called Janice Moore. He does a lot of tutorials on Vappy and how to think about kind of like call assistants and stuff like that, the frameworks. So I'll link his video up here somewhere. But yeah, his videos are really awesome as well. I'd highly recommend going and checking him out and seeing what he's got to say about all this stuff. But the reason I'm really excited about this right now is because within the next month or so, the Vappy team have already said that they're working on building into the platform OpenAI's new real-time API, which means that Becky, the assistant that we've just built here, is going to be far more powerful. If you've ever played around with OpenAI's voice AI assistant, it's essentially going to be like that. There's going to be very little delay between inputs and outputs. The power of the voice is going to be a lot better. It will be able to detect tone and emotion in the calls. So lots of exciting stuff coming out. I would highly recommend getting to grips with this tool and this system now. Hence me building this video for beginners. Anyway, so as you can see down here, we've now got all of this output to work with. So what do we need to do at this point? We just need to know what was the outcome of the call, and we also need to make a log of the call back in our Airtable database. So if I come back over to Airtable, I'm going to come over to View Data. In our AI calls, we want to make a log of the call, so we've got it to refer back to at any point in the future, right? So that's what we want to take all the information from this dump here and drop that into here with the summary and the transcript, etc. So let's go into the next module. And then there will be a second step after this, which is we need to also create a callback request if there was a request as well. All right. So if we go into Airtable, what we're going to do is we're going to use a search record. And the way that we're going to search the record is obviously by the phone number. All right. So if we come into our base, we're going to click on inbound lead call system. We're going to search our leads table. I'm going to click the output field as phone number. And we're just going to create a quick formula here where phone in curly brackets here. Phone equals open question mark. And then in here, you will see a phone number. So that's the number that we called from. There is the customer number here. All right. So that is going to be there. You click on OK, and then it's going to search based on that phone number. So if we run this module, the phone number would have been +44 77 36 470 689. Click on OK. Now it's not found any records, and the reason being is because if we go back to our leads table, we actually have a phone number column here that is, this is the same number, but it doesn't have the country code on it, right? So one of the things that we actually want to do is come back to our callback trigger, right? Now that we've taken the phone number and we've actually made it the E168 or whatever it is format, let's just right click between here. Let's click on add a module, and we're just going to update very quickly. We're going to update a record, and then we're going to come back into our lead call system. We're going to go to our leads table. We're going to grab our record ID from the beginning, and we're just going to very quickly update the phone with the number in E164 format. And then we're going to click on OK, right? So that's now then going to update the phone number with the correct format for us to then search in the next scenario. So if I just come back in here, I'm just going to update that phone number for us. There we go. And then if I come into here, and then if we do that search again for this phone number, you can see now we actually have the record ID there to work with again. All right. So the next step here is we actually just want to create an AI call log, right? So we're going to come into Airtable. We're going to click on create a record here. And then we're going to click on base. And then we're going to come into our inbound lead call system. The table is going to be AI calls. So we're going to create this new AI call. The time of call, we can actually grab that from here. So it started at. The lead, now that we have the record ID, we can actually attach it to the correct lead. Then the recording link, if you can see down here, we have the recording URL. Then the summary, we have the summary here in the analysis. Then we're going to have the transcript. The transcript is in here as well. You can see that there. And then also the call duration is in here as well. I'm going to grab the call duration in seconds. And then we're going to click on OK. So now that record's being created, let's just save that. So now we need to test this really. So let's click on, now we click saved. Let's click on run once. I'm going to wait for new data, and then I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to quickly run this module. I'm going to drop the phone number in. I'm going to click on OK, and I'll jump back in a second, guys. I won't bore you with the phone conversation again. All right, guys, so that has just finished. And yeah, we had the end of call report got passed through. Then we did a search and we found the lead, and then we updated the record. So now you can see if I click in, first off, in this leads here, you can now see that there is an AI call linked to this lead. If I go to the AI calls, let me just get rid of these ones. We can now see that we had the time of call. This is the lead that it's connected to. This is the phone call. Here's the recording URL. Then we've got the summary here. So Becky called Sam to discuss website packages. After a brief conversation, Sam requested a call back for Monday afternoon, initially providing an incorrect first name, which was later corrected, which was correct. So she thought my name was Anne at first, but I corrected her and she got it right, which was cool. So yeah, this is the transcript of the call as well, right? So, and there's the call duration. So now you can see we've got this log, which is awesome. So the final phase of this is we need to actually have another table that's going to house all of our callback requests, because that is something that the team is going to want to then manage. And we can also create notifications with automations and all that kind of good stuff as well. So let's go one level deeper here. I'm going to click on add, start from scratch. And here we're going to call this callback requests. And for the first column, we're just going to call this an ID. We're just going to give this ID, and we're going to use auto number. And then we're just going to shrink that down. And then let's just delete this one. Let's delete this one. We'll keep the assignee for now. We're going to grab the day that was requested. So callback day. We're going to give that as a single line. Then we're going to have callback time slot. It's going to be a single line. That's either going to be AM or PM. We've got our assignee. And then we're also going to link the call that this callback request came from, just in case anybody that's checking these callback requests wants to go to the call, wants to listen to it for whatever reason. So now we can say link to another record. We're going to grab AI calls. And then we're going to call this linked call. Create field. And we're also just going to pull through the phone number here as well, just in case whoever's doing the callbacks just wants to manage from this screen as well. So now you got the linked call, the phone. Actually, one thing we'll also do is bring through the contact as well. So the lead, sorry. So now we've got the linked call, the lead, and the phone. So let's get rid of these. So now we've got the database set up. We want to come back over to our make scenario. I'm just going to click save just to triple make sure we've got that. So we've got the end of call report. We've got the search to find the lead. Then we've created the AI call log and attached it to the lead. So the next thing that we want to do is make sure that if there was a request for a callback, that we've updated our database. But first, we need to actually create some structured information from the transcript to discern whether there was a callback request or not definitively. And we're going to use AI to do that. We're going to use ChatGPT. So between the start trigger and the search record, the very first thing that we're going to do is click on add a module. Then we're going to click on open AI, and then we're going to use transform text to structured data. Now make sure that you've got your right OpenAI connected. The model, we don't really need anything fancy here. We can use 4.0 mini. And then we're going to use text to parse is going to be the transcript. And we're going to use the prompt. I'm just going to grab this from my previous prompt here because this worked pretty well. All right, so analyze this transcript and identify, number one, if there was a callback arranged. Number two, if there was, the day that it was arranged for. And number three, if the time slot as either AM or PM. So we want to collect those three pieces of information in the output of this module. So I'm going to call this parameter callback requested. And the description is going to be straightforward. It's just going to be a callback was arranged. And then the data type here is going to be true or false. So it's going to be a Boolean, right? So callback requested, the description for this parameter is a callback was arranged, and then it's going to give us a true false, right? Which is great. And then we want this has to be required. So we're going to use this as this parameter is required. Then we're going to add the second data definition. The parameter name is going to be callback day. So if there was a callback, we're going to use callback day. This is the day the callback was requested for. The data type here is going to be text, and then we're going to give it the examples because it's really easy, right? So we're going to just say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This parameter is not required, and then we're going to add a second one because if it's not required because if they didn't request a callback, we don't want to have this fail because it wasn't because it was required, right? So the module can just leave that parameter blank if it's not required. So here is going to be callback. Let's just call it callback slot, and the description is the time slot for the callback as either AM or PM. Data type is going to be text again, and then we're going to give it the AM value or the PM value as the examples, and then that's it, right? So that's then going to structure some data for us that we can then use to filter the next step, which is creating the callback record. So I'm going to click on create a record. You're going to click on base. Going to go down to our call system. Table is callback requests. The assignee we're going to leave blank. The callback day is going to be here, right? It's going to be the callback day as formatted by our OpenAI assistant here. The callback time slot is going to be callback slot. And then the linked call is going to be record ID of the created record that we used here. So we're going to grab that. And then that is okay. But we don't want to create the record every time. So we need to add a filter just before it. So if we click on this little tool icon here, set up a filter, and the condition is going to be callback requested equals true. All right. So now we are good to save and we are good to test. So let's test this out. I'm going to click on run once, and then I'm going to come back over here. We're going to do our call again. I'm going to click run this module. I'm going to drop the phone number in. Click on OK. And let's have this phone call. I'm going to request a callback.
Hey, this is Becky from Built for Trades. You just contacted us via one of our advertisements to inquire about our website packages. I was hoping to pass you through to one of our website team or arrange a callback to discuss some options. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Can I arrange a callback, please?
All right, cool. What's your full name, mate?
Sam Wilcox, mate.
Nice to meet you, Sam. When would you prefer the callback? What day and time works best for you, AM or PM?
I would say Friday PM.
Got it. So Friday PM. Just to confirm, your name is Sam Wilcox and you want a callback on Friday afternoon.
Oh, that's perfect,
Sound
yep.
good? Goodbye.
So again, as I was saying previously, the kind of like, it's goodbye and then the phone's gone, it's hung up straight away, or like the sort of slight delay that this has right now, that's going to go very soon as Vapi have integrated the new OpenAI real-time AI assistant. So if we get this set up now, guys, it's going to be a case of just going back into the assistant next month or the month after, whenever they get this integrated, changing the model, I believe, and then this assistant is going to work 10 times better. So yeah, you can see, you can see how powerful it's going to be. All right, cool. So now we have all of this that's gone through. Let's have a look. So our structured data, so it analyzed our text to parse here, and then it came back and it said there was a callback requested. That was true. Callback was for Friday PM. So it found our lead record, created the new record, and then you can see the filter was passed here because the callback requested equals true, and then it created our new record here for our callback. So let's check this out in Airtable. Let me just get rid of this one. All right, cool. So now you can see that we have a callback request for Friday at PM. The linked call is here. So if I wanted to click on that, I can see the linked call, and I can go to the recording link, and I can see the transcript and everything. So if I am the team member calling back here, this is really useful. And it came for this person here. So this is the lead, and this is the phone number. So now we have everything that we need to make sure that this person gets called back. Apart from one step, right? One thing that we need, it's really important that we actually make sure that the team knows that this callback has been requested. So here, what I would do is I would click into automations, I would click add a trigger, and then we're just going to set up some notifications here to round this off. So I'm going to choose when a record is created, select a table, I'm going to click callback requests. I'm going to choose a record just to test with. So when a new callback request is created, then you can do a bunch of different stuff here, right? So we could send an email, for example. One of the things that we probably want to do is update the record with an assignee, so a person that's assigned to giving that person that lead a callback. So we select the table as callback requests. We click record ID, which is going to give us the Airtable record to update here, and then we're going to update the assignee. I'm going to use me. So yeah, when a record is created, update the assignee to me, and then also send an email. And you can obviously put the email address in subject just so that you can make sure people get notified, or maybe you actually want to send a Slack message, right? So send an actionable Slack message. You can connect your Slack account here and make sure that people get notified. So hopefully this was useful. The main reason for me creating this video is I just wanted to show you the power of this Vappy AI voice assistant and what you can do in make.com to connect it to Airtable and start to build out, I suppose, at the beginning of what might be used as a sort of CRM system. You could bolt this onto the front of a CRM system, and then these callbacks go into like a full CRM pipeline, etc., etc. So I wanted to just kind of show you how this thing works. I'm super impressed with the Vappy voice API. I really can't wait until next month when the OpenAI real-time API connection comes out for the new voice assistant. It's going to be incredible. Then we can do some really cool stuff with it as well. But hopefully this was useful. Again, this was aimed at like a beginner use case here. If you do want to look at some more advanced stuff in regards to the tools and all that kind of good stuff, as I said, check out Janice Moore's videos. He's got some really good frameworks and more advice on how to set up the tools and functions that you can use to maybe call a calendar and actually book in an event into a calendar. But yeah, hopefully this was useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.